Hey guys, so I'm downstairs. I've been down here for a few hours this afternoon just straightening up, starting to put away things from the end of our school year. We're on summer break currently, but before I started putting everything away, I wanted to simply share what I get together, how I get together, all of our end of year items that are required for us to show at our evaluations for Pennsylvania. So I'm hoping that this video will make sense in my brain. I know what I need to say, but I hope that it comes across clearly. If it doesn't, please, 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 if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I am more than happy to help because I am at the place now and confident after going through this a few years of what I need to show at the end of the year. And I credit that a lot to friends that have gone before me in these areas. I have had wonderful, wonderful friends that have helped me know what I need to do, know what's required of me. So if anyone has any questions, please don't hesitate to ask and I will do my best to answer you. So let me just give you a brief introduction. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Erin. I am a homeschool mom to 3 kiddos, a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 3-year-old. We are getting ready in the fall to enter our 5th year of homeschooling. And we are in Pennsylvania. I think I mentioned that. We're located in Pennsylvania. So if you don't know much about Pennsylvania as far as homeschooling regulations, it's pretty highly regulated. So I'm gonna hopefully share everything, if I'm hoping to remember everything that is required of me and my children to present at our evaluation. So at the end of every school year, we get in contact with a certified evaluator for the state of Pennsylvania, and we meet with her for 30 minutes, and within those 30 minutes, we recap our whole entire school year, and she does complete evaluations for both of my, so I have 2, my oldest 2 are of the age to need evaluations. My youngest is not yet needing. In Pennsylvania, when your child is 6 years old or older and you're homeschooling, you need to register them with your school district that you live in. The only exceptions to that are if your child is in private school, of course, or if you do some sort of a charter school through the public school, although I'm assuming the child would still be registered with the school district if it's through the public school. One other exception that I know of, and I know this because my son, this was the case for my son for his first 2 years, he was a private online student. So we used an online academy, we paid tuition, and he was a full-time online student. So we actually did not need to register him with the district, and we did not need to do end of year evaluations. It was actually very simple as far as the public school district goes. But once we chose to drop him down to part-time online student and do some other things on our own, I did have to go ahead and register him. So I'm gonna do a separate video about what I get together as far as beginning of year paperwork. I was trying to figure out the best way to do this because some of the things go together and coincide. But I think it's gonna be a little bit easier if I go ahead and share, because we just went through our end of year evaluations, and in a few weeks I will be gathering everything to turn into the school district for the beginning of year next year. So I may do a separate video for that. But as of today, I'm simply going to share what I put together for the end of this year for our evaluations for both of my oldest children. And they are homeschooled full-time, so they are registered, and that means that there are requirements of me to basically still be allowed to school my kids at home. And as long as you are abiding by those things and showing that your children are excelling and they're cared for well and they're given proper education, and you're good to go. So let me start off by saying I've used the same evaluator for the past 2 years. She's the only evaluator that we've used, and I was recommended her by a good friend of mine, and she's great. She's actually a homeschool mom herself, so she is I want to say on the side of homeschool moms, and I don't mean that in like an against public school way, because I don't like to take that attitude or that approach, because I'm not gonna go there, but she understands is basically what I'm getting at, how it is to homeschool and file all the stuff and keep track of everything. So she completely understands. She's very easygoing. She's very easy to talk to. She's great with the kids. So I simply contact her towards the end of the year, and it has to be, I've started to do it a little bit earlier because of once everything happened with COVID and school shutdowns, her schedule filled up at the end of the year really quickly. So I contact her, I call her, then we communicate through text message, and she has a Facebook page, so she uploads some videos onto there as far as standardized testing requirements and ways to kind of look at those things, and just some different questions that some new homeschool families may have. So she has a Facebook page you can access, she has an email address, and then I'm going to read to you what she asks from her text message she sent me. This is what she asks us to have available for evaluations. Please have your attendance chart, reading list for the year, standardized test completion page or scores for grades 3, 5, 8, and work samples for subjects you taught. Some things from each subject you touched on, scattered through the year, or even simply fall, winter, spring samples. So she's not even super particular about, yes, you have to bring every workbook. No, you can't bring any workbooks. She just kind of wants to see an overall broad portfolio from the whole entire year, which can be a little bit tricky because you're trying to sum up all of one school year into a few folders or workbooks for possibly numerous children in a matter of 30 minutes. So it does take a little bit of, well, it does take planning and thought and a lot of organization, but it's not impossible. So I'm going to start showing you what I put together and kind of briefly talk about how I keep track of all of these things throughout the year. I'm trying not to make this video too long. I apologize if you feel like I'm rambling. I'm trying my hardest not to. So yeah, let's jump right in. So the first folder I have, let's see, what did she ask for first? Your attendance chart and your reading list for the year and standardized test completion page. So I have this, just this simple little folder. And in here I have Easton. So Easton was the only one that needed to complete the standardized testing this year. This was the very first year that we have had to do that. We used the CAT test, which is accepted as, it's an accepted standardized test for Pennsylvania. So I chose that one for a few different reasons. It was recommended by a friend. It's untimed. You can do it at home. And it was affordable. It was only like $20. I did have him take the practice test first, which was I think only $5. And I really only purchased the practice test for him to understand what he was going to be doing. And he did great. So let's jump right into this folder. So I have his standardized test results, I have their attendance sheets, and I have the reading logs in here. So the test results, I just basically printed out everything and stuck it right in this little sheet protector, and she didn't even pull this out. She just basically wanted to see that it was completed, and it was. She could have pulled all of this out, and this does not get turned into the school district. It's just for her to check off, yes, he completed it. So that was that. I also have his certificate back here that he did complete it, but she didn't pull any of that out. And then throughout the year, I just simply print off these blank calendars and I mark day by day the numbers. And I do this because it helps me look back and see when we took breaks and how we were able to stay on track with our day numbers. We are required to have 180 days of education or 900 hours. So it's obviously easier to count days. So that's what I choose to do. I had one for Easton and I had one for Zoe, only because Easton had a few extracurricular days, but she did tell me her feedback for the calendar was that she actually really only needs to see one. She wasn't concerned about seeing the whole breakdown, so I could change that next year if I wanted to. So then as far as the book log, I just wrote on paper every time we read a book and all she wanted to know was the title. I don't need to include how many pages, the author, or anything like that. I did go ahead and highlight just really for my reference. This is Easton's, which ones were chapter books, and then I just put the month, what month we were in, read alouds on YouTube. All those things count too. Like if you do audiobooks, they all count as well. We read some with the library, so those all counted. And then I have a separate section for Zoe because she had a good many more picture books than Easton did. But so, and again, she did give me a little feedback on the reading log. She said she would love to see Easton fill out his own next year. So that's a goal for Easton. So yeah, that's everything that I had in this little folder here. She glanced over it and she was happy with how everything looked in there. I also have this folder here, which I had with me, but she did not ask for anything out of here. I actually will show you a little flip through on the desk. This is where I keep all of our school forms, like important school forms. So I have their evaluations in here that she checked off. I'm not going to show them because it has her personal information on it. It has her evaluator number and it has our personal information. So basically it just says the child's name, their age, and then she marks down if everything has been completed. She checks off, she signs off, and I take that and turn it into the school office, which again, I think I will go over all of that in the video that I create when I talk about things that I gather to get ready for the next school year. I will include that because I turn all of that in at the same time. So I'll go over that in might be like a week or two. I think I'm gonna accomplish that paperwork this week, so I may not get the video completed until the week after that. So anyway, and this is from the past couple years of us schooling. So like a bunch of information in here. I just simply put a different divider in with the year. I keep their last and first day of school interview papers in here, and these are just kind of important special papers that I want all in one spot, kind of like a mom folder, like a homeschool mom folder. This would be it. All right, and then to not make this too long, I'm just going to show you what I took as far as the samples of their work. So this folder here is thick and big, but this folder I just put samples of our group subjects, so our family group subjects: early American history, biology, PE and health, art, and music. And these are all subjects that are required of me to teach my children throughout the year. Also language arts, math, reading, handwriting, all of those things. But I have workbooks for those that I'll show you in a moment. So this folder has all of our group subjects in it. And it was easier for me to do it this way instead of separating Easton and Zoe because we do those as a family, and I just included snippets of some of each of their work. So I'm gonna open this up and I'm gonna show you the first divider. I had early American history, and I just go through, so I have the scope and sequence in the front there, so she can just glance over and see what was taught. And then she can just flip through and see bits and pieces of their work and some of the curriculum that I read from. And so that's early American history. I also included a couple lap books that we did. Sorry, this is kind of awkward. So we have the Iroquois lap book, and then we have the American Revolution lap book, and what's this last one here? Civil War lap book. Lap books are nice because it's an easy way to show what kind of work that they did. So let me just open up this one. I did do a video too on us creating these way back at the kind of the beginning of the year. Yeah, you remember? Yeah, this was fun. So these are nice. These are like a nice little snippet of a topic that was learned or taught. Next up we had biology. Just see if I can flip there for you. Yes, honey.
What is this?
That's a skip it.
What?
That's a skip it.
So you
put it around your ankle and then you kind of jump rope skip with it. So next up we have biology, and again I just have the scope and sequence printed out and some things that we touched on throughout the year. And again, this can be a little bit challenging because you're trying to sum up 1 year of schooling in a matter of one binder. So I just took some of our really neat things that we did and included them. So, seeds of the plants, just so she just, you remember that too? Just so she can visually see, like, we're doing a lot of reading, but we're also doing a lot of hands-on and also some artwork included in there, like all of those things she likes to see. And then the other ones are a little bit shorter. We had some art, just some simple art pages. And then what's up next? PE and health. So just some things we touched on in health class. These are a little bit thinner dividers because they were only once a week. And then music. So we did a lot. Music was all online, so there really wasn't much to include in there. It was a lot of composers. They also both do piano, so there wasn't a whole lot there. And she's understanding of that. So that was that, and then that was group subjects. So then Zoe had separate reading lesson from Easton. She used Christian Light, Learning to Read. So I printed out the scope and sequence, and then I just included some of her light units so she could just flip through and kind of get an idea of what she completed in each of her light units. And I did tell her that she completed 10 of these. Easton did reading 3 through easy peasy. Again, I didn't have anything to show her for this, so I just printed this out so she could see the course description. She was fine with that, especially after she saw our reading log. He also did Bible New Testament on his own, which is online, so there was nothing to print out as far as proof of work for that. And then I just took his handwriting book, Writing with Grace, and she flipped through and just saw his cursive practice. And yeah, I think I'm showing you pages that were not completed, but yep, so she just glanced through. And then I'm not gonna open these up because it's just work that's done, but I did take their math workbooks and their language arts workbooks with me. I could have ripped out, I'll open one of them up for you. I could have ripped out a couple of these pages just throughout the year and included them in a binder, but I just left them in the workbook because I'm just gonna put them all in a big tub, and that's honestly what I do each year at the end of the year. I put all of their work from the previous year. If I don't plan to use it for the following year, I put it all in a big tub. I label it school, so it would be Easton 3rd grade, Zoe 1st grade, 2021, 2022. I just put it all in the tub. I have not, 1 year yet, had to go back into any of those tubs and look for something. So yeah, that has been what has worked for me so far. I don't think I missed anything. So then once we get to our evaluation, we meet her at a local meeting point. Last year we met her at a park. This year we were gonna meet at the park, but it stormed, so we ended up at the library. She just sits down, starts talking to the kids, and then kind of just starts looking through stuff, and she talks to them at the same time, and they interact with her a little bit, and then she asks them what their favorite part of the year was, if they didn't like anything throughout the year, what they were most proud of themselves for. She just kind of interacts with them a little bit, and then she asks me some questions, and that's really basically it. She checks off on their evaluations, and she does like to know, I had included in that orange folder in the beginning some extracurricular activities that they're involved in outside of the home. So we have classes at church, Royal Rangers and Prims. They're both in a Ninja Warrior class. They, Zoe dances with church, a church group, and Easton is on worship team at church. So they like to know some different things that you're doing outside of the home as well. If you're involved in co-ops, of course, if you do things with the library, book clubs, we do a couple things like that. So she just kind of likes to know you're getting out and about a little bit, interacting with some other kiddos. And yeah, she asked me if I felt overwhelmed, if I felt comfortable with everything. And so she kind of checks on the family and the mom as well at the same time. And then if she feels like everything is fine, she'll check off all her boxes, she'll write in a few notes, and then she signs it. And I take that form along with my projected plans for next year to the school office, and I do have to turn the evaluation paper in by June 30th. And then I also turn in, I've said this a few times, but I also go ahead and get my paperwork done for next year, and I turn that in by June 30th, so then I can start counting some summertime learning as well, which is a plus. So I think that's everything. I'm sorry, I feel like this video was really, really long. I feel like I talked a ton because I did talk a ton. So if anybody has any questions, if I missed anything, I hope I didn't miss anything, because I really, really wanted to get this video done now. So if anyone has any questions, please let me know. I was really overwhelmed when the first year that I had to start like turning in, doing evaluations, all of those things, but it went fine. And this year went great. She was happy with everything. So it doesn't have to be overwhelming. I understand if it seems overwhelming because I was there. So I just wanted to put this video out to help, hopefully. And if you're in a state as well that is highly regulated, let me know how things are for you. If this is about the same, I'm just always curious to know what other states are like. We're very close to the Maryland line, and Maryland is like, they're very strict with a lot of different things, but homeschooling is not one of them. So it really is, it just really doesn't make a lot of sense. But anyway, we have to abide by state guidelines, and I want to continue schooling my kids at home. So yeah, this is what I have to do, and I'll do it because I'm thankful and I love them. So if you have any questions, please leave them down below. Again, I'm more than happy to help. Yeah, we'll talk very, very soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks for sticking it out to the end. You'll say bye?
Bye.
Say bye. Where is she? You see her curly head? There she is. Bye. See you soon.